folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium today on the 12th of November 2025. Alright, so today we're gonna talk a little bit about trends, because these can be kind of a difficult beast to identify. So currently, well, previously in the buy and sell zones, I was looking at moving averages. Well, I've tried many different things, but I was certainly trying to identify trends using moving averages, because these seem to be pretty decent way to assess if price is moving higher or if it's moving lower. But the problem with doing this is that you get periods like this where prices have pullbacks, and then in a downtrend, which is clear for a human being to see that we are certainly moving lower. Using moving averages and computer code, from at least from here to here, we're moving higher. Okay, so that's kind of problematic, because essentially we would have been trying to buy in a market states where prices, the overall trend is moving lower, and so that's kind of like a really bad way to do it. So what I've done now is I've changed it a little bit. And what I'm doing now is, instead of looking at the moving average on the chart that the algo is trading on, I'm looking at the daily chart, and I'm using something called a linear regression, which essentially is trying to get a line and kind of match it on 2 points on this line. So here you have the moving average. So you take a snapshot, you take price value here, price value here, and you get a line, and you kind of move through them like that. You see, okay, I want to calculate the slope of this. Okay, so you say, is price going up or is it going down? And if it is going either up or down, to which degree? Okay, and so we want to also look at the slope. And so here, what we're doing now is we're doing this 2 points, and then we're calculating the degree of slope on the line. And if it's beyond a certain value, then we can consider it to be a trend, which is good, which is a good thing, which is a decent way, I think, to assess a trend. And in a situation like this, where we grab this bit here, and we do the same thing here, and you can see it's just a slight pullback, well, the slope is not going to be very good, and so this is not going to be considered an uptrend. This is going to be considered a downtrend, and perhaps even if we took a point maybe here and here, we just cross those off like that. Well, this is also going to be considered a downtrend, because the slope is going to be beyond a certain value. Okay, so this is what I'm doing now. Sounds like one of the algos just opened a trade. Yeah, the algo's busy opening trades. Okay, so here, I think this is a really good way to do it. And what I've done as well is I've made sure that we're looking at more profound data. And so I'm actually looking at the daily chart and calculating all of this here. And then I'm taking my entries on the hourly chart, because normally if you get a nice entry, a nice area of demand or supply on the hourly chart, and the daily chart is booking, we have a nice trend on the daily chart, normally there's ample time to get out of that trade, even if you decide to scratch it at break even, at worst case break even. Obviously there are going to be times where we're going to get this wrong, and prices are going to take a loss, and that's fine, that happens, but we want to be right most of the time, and this seems to be a pretty good way to be right most of the time. So now what we can see in here, the settings have changed a little bit. Move it over here. So here what we have is we have some modifications here. We have the trend. This is enabled. We're looking at the 20 period moving average on the daily chart. We're looking for a slope increase or decrease of 1%. Okay, and then I have another one here, and this is if I want to double check a little bit, and that is in relation to, or maybe I want to take another snapshot and see if the increase between that snapshot and the current snapshot also has a slope of 1%. And so if we go back to the example we just had, where you have like a line that looks like that, and we're constantly looking at, you know, like slices of data like so. And so here we draw a line through it. We draw a line through this. So we're doing this essentially. And so now we can do the same thing, but let's say we calculate, we perform a linear regression on this piece just here, and then we want to do a linear regression on a previous piece as well. So we're going to do actually a linear regression between here and here, and we're going to calculate that. So we want both this one to be down with a slope of maybe -1%, but also we want the difference between this one and this one to be -1%, or positive for upward moving trends. So this is essentially what we're doing now, and this is a confirmation that I have here, which is currently disabled. Okay, so that is that, and now we have the algo that's running here, the one where we just had opened a couple of trades. And so here, what are we doing? So here we're looking at, I implemented the exact same trend functionality here. And we had a couple of decent trades, yesterday. But we also did something that I didn't like so much, and that is this. So when this short, which was here, got out here, it immediately opened another short, which is this here, which is not normally a good idea, because if we have a buy and sell zones entry, and, you know, and we sell here and then prices go down, let's say we hit our target or we get out of the trade here, price moves sideways, the likelihood of price continuing the same day is pretty low. And so what I've done now is I've built in a cooldown functionality here that says if we take a losing trade, then we wait 60 minutes before we get into the next trade. And if we have 2 losses in a row, then we wait 2 hours. Okay, and this is just a good way to stop the trade from hemorrhaging, just to slow it down a little bit should prices decide to move against us. And this is a decent way for that. And also, as you may have noticed, is I have the trend here, and this is the same functionality that we have in buy and sell zones. I just added it in here, and now this is running based on that as well. Okay, so that's pretty cool, and everything is looking pretty decent, I think. So I'll leave it at that. But I'll check in again in a couple of days. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.